Hey guys, my name's Dave and welcome to another Guitars Every Hero song tutorial. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to play You've Got to Hide Your Love Away by the Beatles, which is an awesome tune, a lot of fun to play and quite simple on the acoustic guitar. For the basics, you'll just need a guitar in standard tuning and you won't need a capo. Now, if you play along with the original recording, you might think that it sounds slightly off, and that's just because the guitars in that recording are detuned ever so slightly, but don't worry about that. If you're in standard tuning, you're pretty much in the ballpark. Now, if you want to master your chords back to front, then be sure to head over to guitarsreadyhero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. Or if you want to improve on your guitar in general, then check out Guitars Ready Hero Premium, which is my complete step-by-step guitar course and membership. All right, so first off, I'm going to teach you the strumming pattern that we're going to be using basically throughout the entire song. There is one exception to this, but I'll get to that later. Now, first off, this song is in 6/8 timing, so if we're counting the beat, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, the pattern that we're going to use goes simply like this: down, down, up, down, up. And in succession, it will sound like this: down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So take a moment to just practice that without a chord. Just get your strumming hand going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, now we've got the strumming pattern down. Let's jump into the chords. So the intro is really nice and easy. It's just a G chord for one full bar or two of those short strumming patterns, which will sound like this. So next we move on to verse part 1, and there's 4 lines of chords here. So for our first bar, we have a G chord, and then we play a D sus4. So from the G chord, just lift your index and middle finger and put your index finger on the 2nd fret of that 3rd string. We're just strumming from the 4th string onwards. Now you definitely want to mute your 6th string. So in order to do that, I actually use my thumb to reach over the top and lightly touch that 6th string. That way, if I happen to hit all the strings, at least that 6th string is muted. If you happen to hit the 5th string, that's not too much of an issue, but really try to focus from the 4th string onwards. So we play that short strumming pattern for each of those chords, which sounds like this. For the next chord, we go to an F add 9. So from the D sus4, keep your pinky finger where it is, and we're going to get into a shape like this. So index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd, and ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 4th string. Again, we're just focusing from the 4th string onwards. You don't want to have the 6th or the 5th string ringing out here. One way that I actually mute my 5th string is by having my ring finger lightly touch it as it's fretting down that 4th string. So that's our F add 9, and then we go back to a G chord. So one strumming pattern each for these 2 chords. And that's it for the first line of chords. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Notice how we can just anchor our pinky finger there on that 3rd fret of the 1st string the entire time. So for the second line of chords, we go to a C chord. Now for the C chord, you can actually keep your pinky finger there on that 3rd fret of the 1st string. You don't actually need to push it down, but it's good to have it there just touching the string so that we can move to the F add 9 in a moment. If you want to push down that 3rd fret of the 1st string, then you can do that as well. So that's our C chord, which will be played for 2 strumming patterns or a full bar. Then we go to the F add 9, so we just move our ring and middle finger down 1 string and back to the C. And the second line of chords: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The third line of chords is identical to the first line of chords, and then the 4th line of chords is almost identical to the 2nd line of chords, except we add 1 extra bar, which is the D chord, and that's played for 1 full bar or 2 of those short strumming patterns. That's everything for verse part 1, which will sound like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So that's everything for verse part 1. Now verse part 2 is pretty much the same, except when we get to the D chord, we're going to change things up a little bit. So we play the D chord for one strumming pattern, and then we go to a D/C. So from our D, we'll lift our middle finger, and that middle finger go up to the C note, so the 3rd fret of the 5th string. And we're just going to focus on these middle 4 strings. So that's our D/C, and that bar in total. Then we have an extra bar where we go down to a G/B. So to play that, your next finger will go up to the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and you can keep your ring finger on that 3rd fret of the 2nd string. So that's our G/B, and then we have a D/A, which is the same as a D chord, except our root note is the open A string. So we have a descending bass line here from the D chord, our open D, and then down to the C note, down to the B, and down to the A. And those 4 chords. And that's everything for verse part 2, which will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next we get to the chorus. For our first bar we have 3 chords here. So we're going to start with our G chord. So start by playing this for one strumming pattern. Then on the 4, 5 and 6 beat we have an ascending bass line. So we're going to start by focusing on just the root note of that G chord, that 3rd fret of the 6th string. So that's on the 4 beat. On the 5 beat, what we're going to do is lift all our fingers and focus on hitting the open A string. Down below, I've noted this is a G/A, but we really just want to focus on that open 5th string. And then with your middle finger, hit the 2nd fret of the 5th string. So that's our B note, and that's on the 6 beat. So 4, 5, 6. So in total for this bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then with your free ring finger here, move that over to the 3rd fret, and we're going to start by hitting this bass note. And as you hit that, you can get the rest of your fingers into position to play a C chord, and then continue on with the strumming pattern. So down, down, up, down, up. And for the second bar, we're playing that C for 2 strumming patterns. So and together the first and second bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we're going to go to a D7 sus4. So from the C chord, keep your index finger where it is. Your middle finger will go to the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and your pinky finger will go up to the 3rd fret of the 1st string. We're going to focus on strumming from the 4th string onwards, and that's our D7 sus4. After that, we have a D7. So you'll put your free ring finger down on the 2nd fret of the 1st string and lift your pinky finger. For the next chord, we have a D7 sus2, so you lift your ring finger here and have the open 1st string ringing. And then we go back to D7. So those 4 chords. And we put that all together and the chorus will sound like this. And this line of chords will be played through twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the only other thing to learn is the outro, which is basically the same as verse part 1, except instead of playing a D chord at the end, we're just going to end with the G chord. And that's the end of the song. Now in terms of structure, it's really simple. We just have the intro, verse part 1, verse part 2, chorus 1, verse part 1, verse part 2 again, then chorus 2, and then finally the outro.
So now I'll be doing a full playthrough of the song, and I'll have a vocal track on top for some context. A big thanks to my friend Eric for lending his awesome vocals to this playthrough. Feel free to play this back as many times as you'd like to practice, play along to, and see how you go.
Here I stand, head in hand, turn my face to the wall. If she's gone, I can't go on, feeling too small. Everywhere people stare, each and every day. I can see them laugh at me, and I hear them say, hey, you've got to hide your love away. Hey, you've got to hide your love away. How can I even try? I can never win. Hearing them, seeing them in the state I'm in. How could she say to me, love will find a way? Gather round, all you clowns, let me hear you say, hey, you've got to hide your love away. Hey, you've got to hide your love away.
Thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this lesson, then I know you'll absolutely love these other lessons too. So hit the link here, or if you want to grab a copy of my free guitar ebook, then head over to guitarzerotohero.com or click the link here. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next time on Guitar Zero to Hero. Cheers.